Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Savage J, Pixels and Kilowatts. All right. So today what we're doing is reviewing the old famous Canon A-1. And if you follow my channel, I like to do, go in the field and actually do, real life review. So we're going to mix it up right now. We're going to cover all the basics very quickly. And then go in the field. I'm going to go to the zoo and then share the pictures with you. It's going to be color, not black and white. I've done a lot of black and white lately, so it's going to be color Kodak 200, so nothing fancy. Again, Canon A1. I'm going to use, frankly, the program option on this one. This camera is amazing. It's beautiful. It feels solid. If you have one of these, leave some comments. What do you think? I have the Nikon FG, and it also has a program. I don't know. This one has a lock button. It's locked. It's not consuming batteries. I don't know. The buttons are crammed a little bit together, but you hold it, and it feels solid. The lens on it's 50 millimeter 1.4. Wow, 1.4. I mean, it opens wide open. For light. Okay, so. Tell me what you think. Look at the pictures. Leave some comments. But right now, we'll just do a quick review on just the main buttons on the top and see what they do. And then, boom, we'll go in the field. Again, subscribe, like, so keep me going, get me excited. Do more of these reviews for the cameras that I own. Okay, so we're going to cover this left to right before we go in the field on taking some pictures. So first thing you need to do is adjust the film sensitivity on this side here. And we'll talk about the exposure compensation here too, this button. So if you try to turn this dial left or right, don't force it, you're gonna break it. It's frankly, I hate the buttons on this camera. They're too close to each other, but again, it's a great camera, it takes good pictures, but I'm critical of the placement of these buttons on the top. They're congested and close to each other. Anyway, if you can see, there is a button here. Yeah, you see this button here, it's silver. You need to press that. Again, it's very finicky. You need to press that and then turn this dial to the film. So we're gonna do 400. Again, here goes 400. So looking at the camera from top, you're not gonna figure this out if you don't read the manual or watch a video like this one. Again, here it is. It's the silver button. You press it down and you adjust the film speed. And then just continue on left to right. This button here is to adjust the exposure compensation. So while you're in the field, if you want to overexpose, underexpose, you press this button and now this one turns freely. I don't usually mess with that. I leave it on 1 unless I'm taking a picture in a bright sunny day on the beach, or in a dark environment like on a stage, in a stage where the subject is backlit. Okay, so let's cover this right now since we're talking about that. In a bright sunny day, if you're taking a picture of a person or a subject on a bright sunny day on the beach, you need to overexpose. So you need to press this button and go like this, overexpose half, or a quarter up there. And if you are on a stage with a dark background and the subject is lit, like on a spotlight or something, you need to underexpose, 1 or 2 right here. So you need to just try it. Again, it's very simple. Bright, sunny day on a beach, you go plus. On a stage, dark background, you go negative. Okay, maybe we'll do a video just specifically on the over-underexposure. But for now, leave this alone. Okay, and then this one here, if you turn it to this button here, it doesn't say on and off. It just says it has a dot here. If you turn this off, you will not see inside the shutter speed and aperture. So this camera inside it shows you the shutter speed and the aperture and red LEDs. I keep this like that. I keep it on like this because I want to see that. I don't know why they created that. Okay, and then moving on here, this button here, if you turn it to the left, it closes this. So I had some issues. I couldn't see anything. I thought there's something wrong with the mirror inside and the shutter. If you can see it, you can open it and close it. So I keep it open. So keep this button to the right. It keeps the viewfinder open. So why did they do that? Is maybe for if you're taking a selfie or using a remote to take some pictures and you don't want the sun to go through the viewfinder and ruin your picture. So it has some other uses here. Okay. And then moving on here, this one here turns on the light meter. This one here turns on light meter. And then, by the way, this camera, you need a battery here for everything to work. This camera needs a battery for everything to work. You're not gonna have it's not fully mechanical. Okay, and then you have a TV and AV here. This is shutter speed. This is aperture. Again, this is what Canon uses TV and AV. So TV is shutter, controlling the shutter. AV is controlling the aperture. So if you turn it to AV, you're gonna see with this dial here, you're gonna see the aperture. It goes from, depends on your lens. So this lens is it's from let's see, from 1.4 to 22. So 1.4 to 22. So be careful now. If you have a lens that's 2.0, you can go to 1.4. So, and you can do manual. Okay. And you go to AV here. You turn the switch to TV, and then you can adjust the shutter speed. So, but if you want to do manual on the shutter speed and aperture, you need to set the camera, move it from A. Right now I have it on A here. Move it from A. You press this button and move it to whichever shutter speed you want. Again, you need to do this properly. Here we go. So now I got it on f2.8, for example, and shutter speed of 500. So f2.8, shutter speed of 500. But the beauty of this camera is what? Is you can have everything manual, or you can have a shutter priority. Put this on A, so the camera will know you need to press this button and move it to A. This means automatic aperture right here. A. So now the camera will figure out my aperture, and all I have to do is adjust my shutter speed. Or you can put the shutter speed on P in program. So this is A, this is program. Now this camera is fully automatic right now. You just crank, take a picture. Look at the sound of the shutter. I love this camera. I don't love the buttons on top. They're too cramped, but I love the shutter. Look at this. If you half press this button, and you half press it, an LED inside is going to show you the shutter speed first and then the aperture. And you can take the picture. That's what I do, frankly. And here's the film counter right here. The film counter is right here. So frankly, that's what I'm going to do on this trip that I'm going to show you pictures on in a minute, is this. I'm going to put it on P and don't worry about it. That's what I love this camera, because it's programmed. Automatic aperture, automatic shutter speed, and I'm done. Less is more. You want to get fancy and start doing shutter speed and aperture manually, that's fine. So in summary, this camera can be fully manual. It can be shutter priority and automatic aperture, or it can be everything automatic. Canon A-1. It's beautiful. I mean, it's solid. I mean, and the grip here is just amazing. And also there is a grip here. I took it out because I had to put the battery in here. It feels great, and it's solidly made. A beautiful camera. And this is frankly, it's mint condition. It has everything in it. And this button here is to protect you from turning this button while you're taking pictures. Sometimes you can change this by mistake. So this one, it goes up, this button here, and it protect this dial. I don't use it. Okay, so let's move on. I don't know if it's A for active or whatever that letter is. I'm gonna call it active and lock. So you turn this, you take a picture now. And then if you turn this to L, which is lock, you turn this, you don't take a picture. So it protects you from taking pictures. So put it on A, take a picture. So if you're not taking pictures, I will put this on L, lock it. So let's continue on. By the way, this one here, this button, I'm gonna go back to it again. Like I said, if you turn this button here to the left, you won't see the aperture and shutter speed inside. I mean, less distraction, I guess, because if you put it on program, it doesn't really matter. But there's a button here, if you press down. So if you have the camera on A and you press, this is the battery check this out. You got this one blinking now. So that tells you the battery is good. So this button here, or this switch, serves in two things. It checks the battery and engage and disengage the display of the aperture and shutter priority LEDs inside. Why you want to do that? Maybe you want to save battery. You know, you're doing this and you just don't care. You got it on A here and you got it here on P. You just don't care about seeing the aperture and shutter priority LEDs inside. You save yourself some battery. I keep it on all the time. I want to understand what I'm doing. Okay, so A for active and L for lock, and then you got a 2-second and 10-second timer if you want to use the timer. Okay, I don't, with these, let me just, general statement, with these cameras, specifically the 35mm cameras, you know, here's another one, I'll hardly or never use the timers, because these are old cameras. If you know, you use the timer and the shutter gets stuck, you got a big boo-boo there. So I don't use that. Next, you got this button here. You can see you can turn it when you're cranking. You crank this and take a picture. Basically, this one here is for double exposure. So you push it inside. I mean, it's a little finicky, and then you crank, and now you're taking double exposure, and then you push it back. Okay, so when you push it inside, you're gonna see the red dot. When you have a red dot and you push this lever inside, it's double exposure. So you're gonna do this. Okay, so again, you're gonna need to push it. Again, that's why I told you guys is these buttons are so cramped. You push it inside. Now you get double exposure. So you're gonna crank. How do you know it's working? Because when you push it inside and you crank, the counter is not moving. It's taking a picture on a picture. Okay? Now it's moving here. Now it went to 12. So let me push it in and crank it. It's still on 12. Boom. I don't mess with this, to be honest with you. So again, this camera can do double exposure. From the bottom, you don't do anything until you finish and you press this button and rewind. And then this lens is the Canon FD lens to 1.4. This is an excellent lens. f1.4 is an excellent light gathering lens. Anything below 2.0, f2.0 is a great lens. So if you're new to photography, make sure your lens is f1.4, f1.2, f1.8. f2.0 is fine, but you want the lower numbers. It gathers light beautifully. Okay, so that's about it. So, recap. Set the film speed. Don't mess with anything here. Put this on P. Again, just turn it. It has to be on TV. And then put it on P. Put the lens on A. And go to town. Boom. Obviously, do a battery check if you want. You can press this button. And this light's going to blink. The battery is good. And go to town. Have an extra battery with you, maybe. Because, again, this camera, if you take the battery out, the shutter's not going to work. That's one thing. All right, so that's it. Let's go in the field, take some pictures. We're at the zoo today when it's crazy busy. A lot of people here, so I don't know if I'm gonna be able to set up the tripod and take some pictures, but we'll do our best here. Alrighty. Yeah, here's a nice picture of this thing here.